Hey guys, how's it going? Just a quick update here. This is going to be a very short video. Just wanted to update you regarding my recovery progress. So a couple days ago, I did stairs. This was 2 months after the removal surgery. It's not my first time doing stairs, but it is my first time including the descending portion, which is decidedly more difficult. The other thing that's improved quite a bit is my bending. Now, when you're talking about doing the femurs through the lawn method, a key obstacle that you have to overcome during the lengthening phase and especially the recovery phase after removal is bending the knees. And as you can imagine, having pins that go through, I'm not going to be able to see it, but having pins that go through the major muscle groups of the upper leg are going to be a major impediment to bending the knee. So that's something that you have to overcome. Although I didn't take any really good measurements before the removal surgery, I think I was ballpark 75 degrees bending, and now I'm at about 135 degrees bending, which is the same as like a 45-degree internal angle. So that has come a long ways. My stamina with respect to walking is also a lot better. You will notice that I'm still very thin, but having said that, since the removal surgery, I've gained about 10 pounds. And there is always noise in this house. Always. They wait for me to start recording, so it's in there. Anyways, here's the video. Hey guys, what's going on? So I've had a lot of people ask about my scars, so that's the purpose of this video. Should be pretty short. Just to recap, I did 5.5 centimeters on my tibias and 6 centimeters on my femurs. This was done via the lawn method, which stands for lengthening over nail, so you're going to see scars from pin sites. Anyway, I think that's it. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, just drop them below. So a common cosmetic caveat when it comes to LON on the femurs is the scars. Oftentimes it'll leave deep pitting scars because it's going through more soft tissue. I think I may have mentioned this at some point, but when I had the removal surgery for the intermedullary nails, I spoke with a surgeon and I asked him if he could revise the scars, making them linear. And so he did. I don't think that I've shown the results here, so I'll see if I can take a picture real fast and include that. Hey guys, how's it going? So I've had a few people ask me about signs and symptoms of infection, and so I thought that it made the most sense to address that in the context of a dressing change. So that's what I'm going to get into. I did want to apologize for the disjointed quality of the video. I was having some issues recording at the time, and so I tried to preserve continuity the best that I could. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, we have 4 dressing changes to complete. Each pin site's going to be cleaned individually, and they come in pairs. To start off, you're going to need betadine. It's an antiseptic, and it's very cheap. So you're going to begin, of course, by removing the dressing. One thing that you want to keep in mind while doing this is that any exudate on the pin site may adhere to the dressing, so you want to be very careful and remove it slowly, because if it does stick to the dressing, then it's, number one, it's going to be painful, and 2, it could increase the scarring. So be careful of that. If you do notice that it's sticking, an easy thing to do is just to get the betadine, saturate the site for like a minute. You can also use normal saline, and then it should come up pretty easily at that point. And here we have an example of healthy looking pin sites. You can see that there is minimal exudate here. Having some serous exudate is normal, or serous sanguinis, having some blood in there. But what you don't want to see is purulent drainage, meaning that you have pus coming from the pin sites. That's pretty indicative of an infection, and at that point you would want to contact your surgeon, and he will prescribe you antibiotics. Another thing that you want to be alert to is any heat from the site, and that may be consistent with cellulitis, and usually you're not going to get blindsided by these things. It will be accompanied by a change in pain, like the pain may become more superficial, and you can also use the other pin sites as sort of a point of reference, so you can identify any deviation from baseline. And here we go with the betadine. You do want to be careful because it stains easily, so you can see that I have a, it's not quite a basin, but works like a basin. And you want to be really liberal with how you apply it. So what I did here is I just got a roll of gauze, cut it into strips, and then fed them between the pins. Sometimes you'll even have enough of a gap where you can just use your fingers, but if not, a Q-tip works too. And then you want to make sure that it's fully saturated, or at least you have quite a bit of betadine. And after that, you start a floss-like motion, and the idea is to scrub the entire region of the base for each pin site. And that's about it. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, also painless for the most part. You might have a little discomfort, especially if you pull at a dressing once the wound has adhered to the gauze. I mean, that's not fun. I've done it before, so it's worth the additional minute to just soak it and then have it pull up easily. Dressing change frequency is on average every 3 days for the tibias and every 2 days for the femurs. Couple things real fast. First off, if you're staying in Turkey, and I strongly recommend that you stay in Turkey, you're not going to be expected to do the dressing changes yourself, obviously. The second thing is that if you do get an infection, and I had a couple, I think that it was 2, it could have been 3, I think that it was 2, but if you do get an infection, the frequency will change to daily until you're done, at least with the course of the antibiotics. The reason for the difference is that there's more exudate on average for the femurs than the tibias, and that's related to the difference in soft tissue thickness. Another thing that I should point out is that as you go about your daily routine, you really want to make an effort to keep the pin sites dry. Any moisture is going to promote bacterial growth and potentially infection. And lastly, I think another important takeaway is just to maintain good communication with your doctor. If you have any doubts, then err on the side of being more inquisitive than just being dismissive. When it comes to wrapping the pins, I don't have any particular method that I use. The key thing, I think, is just to ensure that you don't have any part of the pin exposed, especially toward the base. And that's about it. I mean, you get a lot faster with practice. Anyway, I hope you found the video helpful. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you want to have a more in-depth conversation, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram. I will include that in the video description. Until next time. Hey guys, what's going on? So, I'm sorry for taking so long to provide an update. I've just been really busy. Work 15-hour days, and I work nights too. So, ideally I wanted to have some videos to show you, but it's hard to get the footage unless I'm going to film it myself, which really doesn't do a whole lot unless it's in a mirror, in which case it's going to be unsteady. But, it's just difficult. Anyways, I wanted to provide an update as far as my recovery. So let's see, first thing is that I was able to close out the remainder of my range of motion as far as bending, and that applies to both legs. The right leg was lagging behind a little bit. Also for the extension, right leg was lagging behind, and so I closed that out too. There's still a little soreness behind the knee, just stretching of the soft tissues, because I had a few degrees left, but pretty much 100% now. I did running for the first time a few weeks ago. Mechanically it was fine. I didn't have any restriction as far as my range of motion, but I did experience some pain at the distal ends of the tibia, not the pin sites, it's the screws. I use the lawn method, and so initially you have an intermedullary nail which is used for stability to ensure axial alignment, but then once you get the devices removed, then they become weight bearing. So you have a single screw that goes through the nail and through the bone. It actually extends partly into the soft tissue. So I believe that that's what is responsible for the pain, or yeah, I guess pain to be fine. So that does cause some discomfort. It's temporary because the nails will ultimately be removed, but it's apparent when I'm running, not so much when I'm walking. Walking is fine, comfortable. I tend to walk at a really fast pace. Let's see what else here. I had some numbness on the medial region of my right lower leg. So that would be the side of the skin facing midline, and that is completely gone. That was some nerve damage from the removal surgery for the femurs. What else did I have? I had some numbness on my shin on the left side. That's resolved completely. Scar tissue on the left side of my upper leg. I'm looking at my body for reference while making this video. That is about 80% gone. Doesn't affect my range of motion or fluidity. What else here? Trying to make this comprehensive. I don't really have enough time though to edit this like I should, so this is pretty impromptu. Let's see, there is some cracking that's developed in my left knee. I'm not too concerned about that. If you, let me see, I'm going to add in a picture of the x-rays, but you can see that it's very, very close to what's called the epiphysis of the bone. That means the end of the bone. And placement of the nail obviously requires that you drill through the end. And so I'm guessing just proximity to the very end is somehow causing some cracking right there. It doesn't inhibit me in any way, and it's away from the regions of the bone that actually communicate with the tibia, the articular cartilage, and so it shouldn't pose any issue, but I'm expecting it to go away when I get the nails removed. So spoiler, the crepitus did not go away. It's just due to repeatedly accessing the knee. The other thing is that I put on a decent amount of weight since removal of the femoral fixators. It's very difficult for me to gain weight, so I think that I'm going to adjust my physique goal to be something similar to Brad Pitt from Fight Club, which I'm actually pretty close to achieving right now. The other thing is that I was able to get my sister to record a couple videos for me, just a couple comments before I show those. There's just short videos of me walking. There was some other content that I wanted to get, but I just didn't have enough time, and it's already been a long time since I've made a video, so I thought that I would just go with what I had. Let's see. First thing is that I'm wearing a hoodie, and the bottom part goes below my waist, and so it looks like my tibias are very long because my femurs appear shorter. The ratio is normal. My femurs are longer than my tibias. You'll just have to trust me. And I don't have any limitations as far as stamina. I can go to the mall, I can walk miles every day, and I don't have any issues. So that is it. I think I covered most things. There are some new x-rays which I wanted to include, and I also wanted to show you the pictures of my femurs after removal of the devices, and I have that too, so I will include that. Hey, what is going on? So for this video, I'm going to let my legs occupy the spotlight. I'm looking pretty rough and I'm pretty tired, as you can probably tell from my voice. I took a melatonin, tried to sleep, and failed. So I thought that I would just make use of my time and make a video. So quick update here, things that I can do now that I couldn't do at the time that I uploaded my last video. Lunges without any assistance. I can sit back on my legs, like from a kneeling position. I can sit all the way back on my legs. I couldn't do that before. I can jump rope. I guess I could have done that before, but I can do it much more easily now. I can also take stairs 2 steps at a time. So yeah, that's a pretty big difference from before. Anyways, I'm going to show a couple short videos here. The first one is me just doing push-ups and kind of stretching. I know that kind of emphasizes my upper body more than my legs, but I do stretch while I'm doing them, so it kind of shows my range of motion a little bit there. And the other thing is my attempt at running. So the issue that I'm having while running or doing anything high impact is pain at the screw sites. And I'm kind of unsure whether that's due to interaction with the soft tissues because the screws extend into the muscle, or whether it's because the intramedullary nails are weight-bearing at this point because the devices have been removed, and so the force is transmitted into the screws and my bones. So that feels great. Honestly, it's not too bad apart from running, but you'll notice in the video that I'm going to show of me trying to run is that I roll my feet to blunt the impact a little bit, and so it looks a little strange, but I don't have any mechanical limitations. It's just me trying to minimize the discomfort. Like if I had to right now, I could sprint no problem apart from the pain. But I don't have any pain while walking, which is I think the most important thing. I can walk really without any limit. I walk at least like 5 miles a day, sometimes more. Anyway, here are the videos.